Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is brought to you by the Friends in Recovery community, a thriving network of individuals who are fighting back against the stigma of addiction. Join our hosts as they speak up about the real issues of addiction, treatment, and recovery. Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is available on Facebook, Podbean, iTunes, and YouTube 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, here are your friends in recovery.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Friends in Recovery podcast with Jersey Ed. I'm your host, Jersey Ed, along with my two co-hosts, Buckeye Bambi and Super Beth. Ladies, how are you ladies doing today?
I've been better. I've had the flu for 2 days, so
everybody
I've
sounds
been
really,
in my bed.
really excited. You want to should I just do the show myself with a black cloud over my head?
I know when you said, "Oh, maybe we could do it tomorrow," and I'm like, Ed, I put makeup on this face, cussing every step of the way.
That's it. Make sure that that we're doing it. So, anyways, Beth, how are you doing?
I'm still recovering.
Still recovering.
From
alcohol and drugs, or
yeah.
Or Thanksgiving dinner. She was last week. She was having so full from Thanksgiving.
She was so full. Yes.
So cool. Yeah. Good time.
Right. Well, guys, if you're full of something and you want to give us a call on a podcast hotline, it's 800-989-6504. Or you can email us at help@friendsinrecoverypodcast.com. We're also looking for a podcast intern. Email us at help@friendsinrecoverypodcast.com also. And we're still looking for that freaking person, aren't we, Bambi?
We are still looking for that special person that wants to come and help out with the podcast and learn all of this stuff.
I know. And I even asked Jordan, my own cousin, my own flesh and blood, to email me, and she didn't, just to keep me happy. And I did not get an email from her. So,
and I was expecting one, because when you asked her, she said,
yes,
like she was considering it.
I know. She could have said, no, I don't want to do the podcast. I don't want to be an intern, right?
Right.
Beth, what's your thoughts on that?
I don't have thoughts right now.
You better have thoughts, because you're going to talk step 12 here, right?
There you go.
So that's our show for today, guys. We're gonna that's our first show. We're gonna be talking about step 12 today. We're gonna get into that in a minute, but I'd like to also thank our donors who makes this show possible. And if you want to make a donation, please Venmo us at Friends in Recovery Enterprises under business, and we're on Cash App, $ Friends in Recovery, and also you can send check to snail mail, Friends in Recovery Enterprises, P.O. Box 1551, Johns Island, South Carolina 29457. And Friends in Recovery is now part of the FIRE network. And if you don't know what that is, go back a show or 2 or 5 and you'll find out what it is. So
there you go.
But you can find that on our website at friendsinrecoverycommunity.org, and all the information is on there. This week's show, like I said, is step 12. So stay tuned for some amazing recovery. Today's literature is brought to you by, no, I'm just kidding. Today's literature, Beth, of course, the big book. She wouldn't do it any other way. Bambi's doing a 12 and 12, the big book. And I am absolutely have nothing with me, because I am not home. I am in a hotel room in Austin, Texas. And I'll tell you why I'm here in a couple minutes, because that'll be my sober shout outs. But does anybody have a sober shout out?
I have a big one.
A big one.
Terry Z, she is so inspirational on our noon meetings. So
yes,
Ed will tell you about our meetings in a minute, I'm sure, but come on those meetings, because I've learned so much from this woman, and she has went through such a hard time recently, and lost her husband, and still comes on those noon meetings and still offers me experience, strength, and hope. And she has 10 years sober last week.
Terry. Oh, congratulations, Terry. 10 years. God.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Yes, and I have to second that. Terry is a inspiration to me on those meetings too. She's a staple on our afternoon meetings. And she's amazing. So thank you, Terry, for being part of our community. Beth, anything for you?
I just have a super shout out for anybody in the tri-state area of New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, or Connecticut, whichever you choose. It just rained all day. So if you actually got out there and you did shit today, you're a rock star. You
Shout out to everybody who got out there today. So
yeah.
All right. I have a couple of shout outs, guys. So first of all, I want to just send a shout out to Carl. I don't think we've been giving Carl and Soberpod much love lately. I haven't been really promoting his podcast. It is a really good podcast, guys. I get a lot from his podcast. I listen to Soberpod every week. So I want to give Chelsea and Carl a big hello. And if you have not listened to Soberpod, please look them up under any podcast catcher that you get. And also soberpod.com. I believe you can go on and see some of their episodes, and just tell them Friends in Recovery sent you, because he is a good guy. We like him.
We love Carl.
Thank you, Carl.
Sorry, but I love you.
I do have another shout out, guys. So I am not at my house today, right? So I am in Austin, Texas, and I went to a running expo today and yesterday, and because all you guys know I run. And when I walked into the expo hall, it was like I died and went to running heaven, right? I was in that expo hall from like 7 o'clock this morning till we just came on like 10 minutes ago. That's how long I was in this expo. I got every gadget, everything, you name it, for running. It is just an amazing, I am so glad I went. I am like the happiest person in the world. Then I run into the Salty Britches booth, right? And Salty Britches, guys, I'm going to do a little commercial for her, for Amy. I'm going to give her a little shout out here, because it saved my thighs, it saved my underarms, it saved my nipples, it saved my everything. Okay. Salty Britches is basically a one of the best, I mean the best, not one of the best, the best running kind of goo that you could put on you so you don't chafe, you don't break out in rashes and blisters and all that stuff. And come to find out, talking to Amy, she was wonderful. I'll see if we can put a picture up in the whatchamacallit. She invented this for her son. Like, she gave me the whole story. She invented this for her son. They would go to Folly Beach, she said, and that's right near me. It's like down the street from me, Folly Beach. That's our beach we go to. And she put it all over her son so he wouldn't chafe under his arms, under his legs when he was on a boogie board. She invented it. She invented this stuff that I use on every one of my runs.
That's
this stuff
cool.
is, you can't sweat it off. I used it all through the summer in Charleston running. I know this is I know she's not part of the recovery thing, but I'm so happy that I met this lady. So Amy from Salty Britches, a big, huge shout out. And I can't say any more. Your product is wonderful. saltybritches.com, guys. Go buy her product. If you're a runner, if you're not a runner, it's good for anything else. Whatever if you're chafing somewhere or whatever, please go buy it. She didn't pay me to say this. She didn't give me any free products. I believe in this product, guys. So thank you, Amy. That's my shout out, guys.
Shout out.
I know. I'm excited, guys. See my arm, my shirt running. See?
Oh, look at that.
Right, huh? Hey, everybody, welcome to the running show with Jersey Ed.
No, I've never run before.
That's okay. But anyway, so yeah, saltybritches.com, guys, go check it out.
I had to disappear for 1 second.
That's okay.
I have a pug that wanted to get down. So
Pug that wanted to get down.
Look at that face.
Oh, there's the pug.
Oh, the cutest face in the world.
So guys, like Bambi said before, we have some social media stuff. Don't forget the twice or in our meetings too. Don't forget our twice daily Zoom meetings. You can find them at friendsinrecoverycommunity.org or on aa-intergroup.org. All our meetings are listed there. and everything's there, and they'll also be in the show notes if you want to jump on the meeting. Please get on our social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Telegram. And if you want to know more about that, drop us an email, and I'll tell you, we can send you an email about all that. But follow us on all that stuff, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and give us a 5-star review so we can get all this stuff out to who needs it desperately. And we've been helping some people on this show. You know, I got a whole list of people that we've been helping that we get this show out to. So so here it is, ladies. It's time for
Step 12.
Question of the week.
Question of the week.
Oh, question of the week.
of the week. Come on, it is. Here it is. The flash just went off. The guy said question of the week. And here it is. I love that. I watch the show every week until question of the week when it explodes. And then that's it. I turn it off. Every week I do that. I don't recommend our listeners do that. I love the explosion. I don't even listen to the question of the week. I wait for the explosion and it says, boom, question of the week. This is on YouTube, everybody, if you want to watch it. Obviously, you can't see it on a podcast, but on YouTube you can. So the question of the week is, what quote most resonates with you? What quote do you guys like? What quote do you kind of live by, right? Facebook Live, if you guys are on here, give us your quote. Type it in. Email us, whatever it is. I am a big quote, ladies. All right. I'm a quote guy. I love quotes. I do daily affirmations every day. And I know I live by these affirmations most of the time. I apply a lot of them to my life. So I'm going to ask Beth to give us your daily affirmation or your quote that you like.
My quote.
Can I just say, if Beth's quote is the same as mine, I'm just going to die, because remember, no one in the world would have said cilantro except Beth. For
That's right.
A scent that.
So I actually have two, just to double my chances of being like Bambi. And so the first one is one that I got from a friend of mine who's also sober. And it is the will of God will never take me where the grace of God will not protect me. And that's a lot. There's a lot going on in there.
It is.
Yeah. And the other one is actually a lyric from a song by Snow Patrol, which probably nobody's ever heard. But it's called Chasing Cars. And the lyric is, I need your grace to remind me of my own.
I like that one too.
Good ones.
Wow. Really, really deep and heavy ones there, Beth.
No, deep and heavy.
Wow. I know, that's pretty good. I like both of them. And we have, Sandy's on here. Sandy M says, be the change you want to see in the world. And I believe that's the Dalai Lama, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah. Be the change you want to see in the world. I love that one too. And that's so true, guys. You know, all these quotes and all this stuff, if we only live by these like every day, you know, like this world would be a much better place. So sure. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you. I mean, Sandy M. And thank you, Beth, Super Beth, for that. Bambi, what do you got for us?
Okay, mine is by
Ralph Waldo. Has to be some quote from Ohio State or some shit.
No,
right?
It's actually not. It's Ralph Waldo Emerson. What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us.
That is true.
I have that on my Facebook page as my quote. I don't know where, but I just said I really like that.
Yeah.
So nothing in the past and nothing in the future really matters except for right now.
What's inside of us.
What's inside of us. Absolutely.
That's what you got to live with. You got to go to bed with yourself every night. You know, you got to be okay with that.
Yeah,
whatever's inside of you.
Every morning, right? When you're shaving or doing your hair or whatever it is. Do you ladies shave?
My head?
Everybody doesn't shave their head? Okay. That's weird. No, just kidding. Great quote. I too, Beth, have two. Okay. And I just, because I can we could do a whole show on quotes. Maybe that's what we could do next year. One of our topics can be a quote show, right? So the first one is, this is one that's on my website, that because I do some coaching and everything. So this is on my website, and I live by this every moment of the day, whenever I can. I didn't come this far just to come this far.
Yeah.
I didn't come this far just to come this far. Don't fucking stop me, man, because I'm going in my recovery, in my personal life, in my job life, whatever it is, I'm going. I'm not staying right here. I didn't come this far just to come this far. My second one is, and I don't know where this came from, but I know it by heart. Have a fierce resolve in everything you do. Demonstrate resiliency and tendency. Don't let temporary setbacks become permanent excuses. Use mistakes and problems as opportunities to grow, not a reason to quit. I did that one, and I know that's a lot to take in.
That's a
but,
long one, Ed.
It is, but I say that to myself every single day.
Good
So,
one.
It is a good one. Well, they're all good. They're all good.
Good.
And
Carrie's got a good one. Stop looking in the rearview mirror. You're not going that way.
yes.
She says her
That is
Steve
true.
used to use that one, used to say
Aw.
that one.
Oh, yeah, I'm telling you, we could do a whole show on quotes. This was a good question of the week. So, but now we got to get on to step 12, right? Is that what we're doing today? Oh,
We
my
are.
little microphone fell here. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Is this thing on? Testing one. No.
No,
We're
we'll just go on
professional-
without you. Don't worry.
We're professional podcasters here. So let me see. I gotta find my, because I don't have my big book, I don't have my step book with me. All right. Step 12, having a spiritual awakening as the result of these steps. We try to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs. Guys, this is when you know you've made it, that you're helping another human being, that you're practicing all these principles and you're just being a good human being. That's for me. Spiritual awakening. I'm going to break this up real quick. The spiritual awakening. Like I think I had a spiritual awakening throughout all these steps. But when I get here and understand, because of all these steps, what the spiritual awakening is, right? As a result of the steps, right? Before I would just have a spiritual awakening due to maybe this step, but as a result of all the steps, when I take all these steps and put them all together, this is where I'm at. And we try. I don't know if I try. Sometimes I don't carry the message every day, and sometimes I do. I don't try. But to me, trying is failing. I either do or I don't. I'm pretty black and white. I'm not some middle guy. So, and I do try to carry the message every day. I really do. Sometimes I don't, but this reminds me of, like I live by another quote: add value to somebody's life today. How can I add value to somebody's life today? This is it right here. The program, the 12 steps, step 12. I can add value to somebody's life by my recovery, and I have to spread that message, right, to other alcoholics and practice these principles in all our affairs. Now, that's a tough one, because there's plenty of times I want to flip people off. There's plenty of times I want to tell people go fuck themselves. There's plenty of times I want to yell at my wife. I want to be right all the time. That is one of my character defects, but I have to put it aside and understand that, to me, that step 12, it's okay to be who I am today. It's okay that that I am not perfect. And I have to carry that message to other alcoholics, because that's what got us in trouble. Well, that's what got me in trouble, trying to be perfect, trying to do this, trying to do that, saying, telling everybody that, it's my way or the highway, that I'm always right. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to tell people that I'm wrong, right? It's okay to tell people I don't understand. It's okay not to be the smartest person in the room today for me, right? No more ego, no more head trips, no more, no more being that person, right? For me anyways, and when I practice these principles in all my affairs, that's when everything comes in order. That's when my life is good. I know I've made it. I also, now Beth and Bambi, maybe you guys heard this, doing step 1, step 12, step 1, step 12, really not practicing any of those steps in between. I've heard that goes on a lot too. You're helping people and you're staying sober, but you're not really helping yourself, right? I've heard a lot of that too. So that's a huge thing in this step 2, where we have to go through all these steps and it says having a spiritual awakening. If you're only doing step 1 and step 12, I don't believe you're having a spiritual awakening, right? I don't believe so. I mean, I could be wrong, but if you're staying sober and helping other people and doing nothing for yourself, there's no spiritual awakening to me anyways. So, so that's my little rant on step 12. I could be completely wrong about it, or I can be somewhat right, but that's okay. Today, it's okay for me. So I'm going to open it up to the ladies on this, and I don't have a book in front of me to make any references to. So Beth or Bambi, have at it.
You go for it, Beth.
I hope I did step 12 justice.
So I love the 12 step, but it's got more pages dedicated to it in the big book than any other step. Second only to step 1, which is the first 40, I think it's the first 42 pages. Everything up into We Agnostic is step 1. So chapter 7, which is Working with Others, is the beginning of step 12 in the big book. And I absolutely, I love every sentence in the big book. Who are kidding? But I love the first sentence, and I quote it all the time at meetings. And I'm going to actually read it so I get it perfectly right this time. It says, practical experience shows that nothing will so much ensure immunity to drinking as intensive work with other alcoholics. It works when other activities fail. This is our 12th suggestion. Carry this message to other alcoholics. And this got an exclamation point, which I love.
Oh my God.
Yeah. You can help when no one else can. You can secure their confidence when others fail. Remember that they are very ill. And I could literally read this entire chapter to you, and how they describe how to do a 12-step call in Working with Others. And then after Working with Others, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 more chapters. And it's 2 wives, family afterward, 2 employers, and a vision for you. All 4 of these chapters are the second part of the 12th step, which is to practice these principles in all our affairs. So my sponsor, the way that she brought me through the book was we highlighted and talked about every single principle for living in those forgotten chapters, which is what we call them up here. And that's what we refer back to when we're practicing, and it comes up a lot. Usually we call it the second year after the book. So however much time you have doesn't matter, but you go through the book, and then the year after you go through the book, it's like this learning curve where just about every life issue seems to hit you like smack in the face. And we then rely back on the principles from the book. By step 11, God's let us out of the house. God lets us out of the house to talk to other people at step 9. And now in step 12, we should be wrapping up all of our amends, like finishing direct all of our amends. And now it's time for us to start to be of service to others, right? So if service to others is going to keep us sober, intensive work with other alcoholics is going to almost make us immune to drinking. So I actually just got a new sponsee, which is super, super cool. She was my grand sponsee, and then my sponsee moved to North Carolina or South Carolina. I don't know. Everybody's going to the Carolinas these days.
I know, right?
And so I started sponsoring her just a couple of weeks ago, and we started the bedevilments. But I love when I have somebody in the book, having another alcoholic. And I mean, then this woman has, I think she's got like 7 or 8 years, but having somebody in the book and going through line by line again, it brings a totally different dimension to the sponsorship relationship. It brings another dimension to my daily activities because I'm back in the book. And I have a really great forgetter. Like I forget shit all the time. So the sponsorship part, I find I'm very reluctant to sponsor. I hate taking on new sponsees, but it's only because I really don't want to get to know people. Like I don't like getting to know people, but every time I do, I love them. So maybe that's really the problem. I don't like being mushy. But anyway, practicing these principles in all our affairs, it's a lifelong process. Like this is shit I'm gonna do for the rest of my life. Yeah. Like I am out there doing new things a lot. And I am the reluctant to go out of the house, let alone do new things. And this step, practicing these principles in all my affairs, constantly gives me the opportunity to find new things about myself that I didn't know, to learn new things, to become something I wasn't before. And I commenced this path shoulder to shoulder with my sisterhood, and we are all leaning on each other at times. We actually meet every Tuesday night at 8:00. It was Monday, now it's Tuesday, where we do like a run through, like we do an update on where we're at. And a lot of it is there's always something going on, new jobs, getting married, moving, having children, buying a new car, getting divorced, retiring, setting up your estate. Like, this is shit. Like, this is all new for every single one of us as we personally experience it. And this is where we're prone to being assholes. Like, we get out there, we do something new, and we have to practice. And so my sisterhood and us, we get together every week to be accountable, to have a place to bounce stuff off of other people, and using each other's a collective experience to help get us through, usually unscathed. And usually at this point in recovery, without having to make amends to people. Like, I just celebrated my anniversary. I turned 49. I bought a house. We moved, and I didn't owe one person an amend afterwards.
Wow.
That's good.
That's huge. That's
right?
huge. You didn't tell the mortgage guy to go fuck himself when you heard your interest rate?
I didn't want to.
So you got hit by a truck through all that too.
Oh yeah,
I
got hit by a truck, got on a podcast.
Yep. And but I haven't had to make amends to anybody because I lost my shit, because I started taking things too personally, or because I started living in fear, or because so when we do new things, our fear and our fear creeps in, right? Because it's new and we're scared. And then to self-protect, we use our list of character defects, which for each one of us is a relatively short list, usually, of shit we're really good at with fucking people over. So practicing these principles in all my affairs, it's actually current experience of mine, is that there was a lot of crying. There was a lot of freaking out. There was a lot of, what the hell did we just do? There was a lot of, I can't believe we're doing this. But it was all put where it needed to be, and it wasn't brought out sideways on somebody who didn't know it was coming.
Exactly. And like you said, we practice these principles in all affairs: buying a house, moving, switching jobs, getting a podcast, whatever it is, we practice these, because you're right, Beth, because we'll go into going off on people shit if we don't practice these principles in all our affairs. I want to touch a couple things that you said. I took a bunch of notes, and please feel free to chime in anytime. Practical experience works. That was the beginning of what you read. Practical experience works. That's what we get when we get to step 12. That's what we get when we get sober. That's what we get. I shouldn't say we, that's what I get, right? Practical experience. And I can pass that on to other people. I don't have to make bullshit up. I don't have to pretend. It's okay if I don't know, but practical experience, I can pass that on, and that's going to help another human being. That's going to help another human being.
Spelled out for you.
Right? Exactly.
It's all spelled out for you, what you need to pass on,
Exactly. Did you want to say something about that, Bambi? I'm sorry.
No, just it's all spelled out for you. That's a practical experience right there.
Exactly.
It tells you what to do.
Doggy. Sorry. Yeah.
It's a dog kind of day.
I know. I don't have my doggies with me, but service to others keeps us sober. You also mentioned that, right? Service to others all keep us sober. Now, if we don't practice all these principles and if we don't practice these principles in all our affairs, how can we be service to others? If you do step 1 and step 12, you can't be service to, you can't give service to others. Good service anyways, the AA service, the AA way of life to sober people. And that could fuck somebody's life up. It really could. So you got to really be careful, and you got to really be ready when you're going to go out and speak to somebody. Because now at this point, you should have some sponsees, or you should be thinking about some sponsees, because you need to take your miracle and pass it along to, I should take my miracle and pass it along to somebody else, because that's what this does. And that's what this spiritual awakening is that's this miracle that was given. And now I got to pass it along to somebody else and practice these principles in all my affairs. Beth, you also said something about getting to know people, that you have a hard time getting to know people. I feel the same way about that, right? I really do. And you and I have jobs where we have to know people, we have to get to know people, we have to walk up to people, and it's the hardest thing in the world for me to do. But then when I do it, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Right? When I jump into the pond, when I put all these principles into what I'm doing, and I'm who I'm talking to and why I'm talking to them, it just works really well. That's in my job life. In my regular life, like I said, I was just in this room of 3,000 people. Like, I felt so alone, right? I walked into this room like, what am I doing here? Like, I'm not a runner like these people. That's bullshit. I am. I don't know how these people run. I don't know if, I don't know any of this stuff. So what I did, I had to force myself to walk up to some of these people and talk to them, getting to know people. Like, I could have sat there in the corner and just did this and did that and grabbed this and took that, and I'd be out in an hour, but that wouldn't give me the experience that I had. And I took everything I knew from my program and I applied it in that room. I apply it every day to my life. I apply it with my wife, my kids, my job, this podcast, right? I'm applying it right now. It's because what I learned in this program, what was passed on to me, I want to pass on to somebody else. My sponsor always says, Eddie, he goes, I don't know everything, but I'm telling you what I fucking know from somebody who passed it on to me. Now, if that is not practicing principles in all your affairs, I don't know what is when he tells me that, because he knows that all those principles that were passed along to him that he's doing, he needs to give to me, and I need to pass on to somebody else, or it just doesn't work. This program doesn't work. If I was to shut my fucking mouth and stop at step 11, be quiet and don't do nothing, we would not probably make it past 1940, if you want to be real, seriously, or whenever the steps came out. I don't know when the steps came out, but I think it was a little bit later. But I wouldn't be sitting here today if we didn't practice these principles in all our affairs and then do something new. God, you fucking scare me, Beth. Like, get to know people, do something new. I do not like doing anything new, but this year I moved, I got a new job. I'm here in Austin by myself doing a running expo. I'm running a marathon next week. I am doing something new every week. And it's because, like you said, one of my character defects was fear, and I'm blowing through that fear. And this is how I have to show people that that fear doesn't rule my life anymore. Does it creep in every once in a while? Do I toss and turn it? Yeah, of course it does. I'm a fucking human being, but I do not let it run my life anymore. And I have to practice that in every part of my life. I can't be afraid of anything. Can I be cautious and understand what's going on? Of course I could be. But I can't live in fear. I can't make decisions on fear. I can't make decisions because this might happen or that might happen. I have to understand the principles of my life, of my program, and apply them to almost everything I do in my life. So you had some good points there. I love that. I love that reading there. Brought up a lot of good things for me. As far as step 12 goes, Bambi, I know me and Beth have rattled off here. Do you want to rattle off on anything?
Well, just a little bit, because I'm under the weather today. But
Yes.
when I remember when I was working the steps, and I was having such a hard time with my higher power, with God, because I was so angry with him in the beginning, and I couldn't get past that anger. And we'd go to the meetings and they'd read the 12 steps, and my sponsor pointed out that having had a spiritual awakening as the result of these steps. So she's like, we're just going to keep working them. It's going to come, the promises come true. And this is black and white. I'm telling you, having had a spiritual awakening as the result, so it's like, we're just going to keep plugging in order. They're in order for a reason. That's the way we do it. That's the way we work our program. And that's going to come. And I really didn't think it would come for me, working. I mean, the thought of working with other alcoholics, and doing something, in service. I mean, I didn't see that in the beginning at all, and it just, hey, it works if you work it right. So, and now I have an amazing relationship with my higher power. And as a result of these steps, so it got me to 12, step 12. And now, when I'm in my head, when I'm going crazy in my head for whatever reason, life's getting lifey, all I have to do is pick up the phone and call someone, another alcoholic, and talk to them. And, it's amazing how much better you feel.
And it's simple. It's simple, guys. Even practicing these principles in all our affairs, passing this information on, it's simple, right? We do it to our kids. We teach our kids right from wrong, say thank you, say please. Why can't I do this in my whole life? I like what you said about it brought me closer to God. I had a problem with God. And by this time, I guess at step 12, I think I understood who God was. I understood the direction I was going in with God. But Beth, I know you're the big book person. So how does somebody, an atheist, an agnostic, look at step 12, right? A spiritual awakening. I know spiritual awakenings can mean a whole bunch of different things, but I guess can an atheist have a spiritual awakening?
Of course they can.
Okay.
I think that, a spiritual awakening is really waking up to something that you didn't know existed. Right. So you could, if you're truly an atheist, which most people by the time they get to 12 realize that they do actually have a higher power. And it doesn't have to be the guy in the sky. Mm-hmm. There is something more powerful than me. And anybody who doesn't believe that there's something more powerful in the world than them has probably a bigger problem than alcoholism, but that was rude. But
it's true.
But, to look at a spiritual awakening as it's a way of life, like this actually works, right? Mm-hmm. So having a spiritual awakening, you can look at AA as a whole, as a power greater than yourself, and it brought you to a better way of life, which for a poor atheist, which there's nothing wrong with being atheist, no. That could be in itself the awakening, right? A spiritual awakening. It's I'm awakening to outside of myself. Mm-hmm. Think about how self-absorbed we are when we get here, how, we have 100 ways of looking at self-seeking, self-absorbed, selfish, self-seeking,
self-doubting,
right? It's all about self.
Yeah.
So just to come up and out of self and realize there's 8 billion people in this world. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that in itself for a pure atheist would be like a spiritual awakening. I'm not an atheist, so I don't know for sure. And I've never gotten somebody that said they were an atheist all the way to step 12 without them like finding a power greater than themselves. But I would love if anybody's watching on Facebook Live, or if anybody is watching this and is an atheist and works the 12 steps, please let's have them on.
Yeah. Let us know about how you approach this. And I like what you said, Beth. When people get to the step, they realize that maybe they do have a higher power. Now, we're not saying it's God. We're not saying it's whatever it is. You do find that out, and in some way. Not in some way, in the way it's written, or the way the higher power thing is that anything is greater than ourselves, right? That we can believe in. Anything, even a sponsor. I wouldn't put a sponsor as a higher power, but if you have that spiritual awakening, then I think you do find something, a belief in something. if it's the program or whatever it is, and then that's what's able to take us and carry us on to pass us along and practice these principles in all our affairs. I know we keep saying practice these principles in all our affairs, but that's what each of us do here. And I know it because I know you two ladies. I know how you work your program, and you do practice. Beth, what, 15 years sober?
Me?
Yeah.
31.
31 years sober?
Wow.
How old are you? 22? You're fucking lying. Work step 12 again. 31 years, really?
Yeah.
Congratulations. Wow. I thought you were
That's
like 15,
amazing.
20. And Bambi, you're pushing what?
A year.
11? A year.
She's coming up. I
22
cannot
years.
wait. I am so excited.
I'm counting the days, you know, I'm 38 days till my 1 year. So
All right. We're gonna have a big party on the show.
Yeah.
Right? But no, I apologize, Beth. I didn't realize you were that well advanced.
that's a really delicate way to say
Well, I don't
something,
know.
I think.
But
I think he just called you old, Beth.
no, I said she looked 22, right? Anyways,
Yeah, but it was holy shit, 31 years.
I was like, oh my God. I was just surprised. Not that, listen, everybody, you know, we only have today, but when we can put these years together and we can take, as it said, you know, at the beginning, like we could take, like you said, all this knowledge and pass it along. That's why we do this.
Yeah, but it's not even experience. You look at the like hundreds of thousands of people that are working this program. It's not about knowledge. It's about the experience.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Earlier in the book, it talks about self-knowledge will kill us.
Mm-hmm.
So really what we need to do is have an experience. Mm-hmm. So it's like, and I would love to do 2 different shows, one on the first half of the step and one on the second half of the step, because they're 2 totally different things. And I almost feel like Bill jammed them in there just to keep it at 12. Like
the 12 commandments or whatever. Yeah, you're right. And maybe we could talk about it next week on the show with Jeff. Jeff might be able to break that down a little bit for us, a little bit deeper. But you know, if we think about it, the experience, right? I love that practical experience works because everything is based on experience. Everything that I do in my life, I don't touch the stove because I know it's hot. I probably touched it one time. I don't drink spoiled milk because I probably drank it one time and the experience that I had was not good. You know, I don't eat bad foods because the experience that I had. So we take all these experiences. Life is about a bunch of experiences, put them together, growing, learning from them, and even having hard times with your experiences, divorces, like you said before, deaths in we just lost a dear friend of ours. That's an experience. We go through all these experiences, and then we have to understand, to give this advice. I don't mean that advice, just give these suggestions to other addicts and alcoholics,
Yeah, I mean, I'm to the point now in sponsorship where I don't tell my girls what to do unless it's an assignment out of the book.
Okay.
Tell me with their stuff. I mean, my go-to with my sponsees is go to God first, then go to your network. And then if y'all can't figure it out, give me a call. And when they do call, I ask them questions because it's like, and this is why I could do like a whole hour just on sponsorship, because there's this thing about sponsorship in AA that has gone so far off track in what we're supposed to be doing as sponsors. What my girls do, like God wants one thing for us, that's to be happy, joyous, and free. And the reason we do the steps is to figure out what's going to really make me happy, joyous, and free. I can't make decisions for my sponsees. I'm just as inept as they are in life.
Yeah.
So helping them, right? So my prime responsibility as a sponsor is to help my sponsee build and strengthen a relationship with their higher power. So when they call me with the shit hitting the fan, I ask them questions until they find their truth.
Yeah.
Well, get you drunk.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Beth, I just happen to know who's keeping the schedule for the year and I'll just book you a little
There you
session
go.
on sponsorship. How's
There you
that?
go. Yeah, we could do some on sponsors. Absolutely. We can maybe bring one of ours. I mean, Andy's been on the show before. He's he's one of my best sponsors. My best sponsors. Whatever.
How
But
many you got, Ed?
I feel I got a few. I run by each sponsor until I want to hear what
Do
the
you
fuck
get the
I would
answer
get to
you
hear.
want?
Exactly. No, but think about this, what you're saying, but we share your sponsees. What we do with our sponsees and what my sponsor does with me, we share our experience, strength, and hope.
Yep. And
That's what we do. And in that order, because we get the experience first, we tell them what happened to us, the strength, how we got through it, and the hope that they know it's going to be okay. And I know it's going to be okay, no matter what it is, no matter if it's a death, if it's a whatever it is. I'm going to be okay if I do this program the way I'm told to do this program. I don't drink. I don't act like an asshole. And it doesn't matter whatever problem comes up, because I'm not going to be in this situation forever.
Yep.
Unless I choose to. And that would be drinking, drugging, all that stuff, because that never makes problems go away. And if I practice these principles, all my affairs, the problems will be in the past. Hands down, 100% will be in the past. And that is the experience, strength, and hope that I pull from all my whole network. You know, if I have questions about one thing, I'll go and I don't mean to, I don't try to get questions. I don't try to get answers that I want, but if I have a financial question, I'll go to one person. If I have a relationship question, I'll go to somebody else in the program. Obviously I run it all past my sponsor, but my sponsor doesn't know everything. He's not my go-to fucking encyclopedia, or what is it, Wikipedia now? He really isn't. You know, I have to go to other people and say, hey, spons, this is what I found out from my network. What do you think about that? Yeah, good idea, or no, or whatever. You know, that's how that experience, strength, and hope to me comes in. And then I get to practice that in whatever I do.
100%. 100%.
Agree.
So,
Although your sponsor is pretty good, Ed.
Really
he knows
good.
a lot. He
does. He really does know a lot. We got to get him on here one day. When we do the sponsor show, I'll get him to come on here. Beth, you never met my sponsor. He's really good. He knows his shit about AA.
That's awesome. I can't wait to meet him.
He's a big book guy too.
Yeah,
he's a big book guy. His answer is, if it's not in the big book, don't fucking worry about it. If the answer's not in the big book, don't worry about it.
My sponsor always has a page. Always. She knows exactly where it doesn't matter how many times I can read it and not know what I'm looking for. When I call her with a problem, she says, let's open to page, blah, blah, blah. Let's open to page, you know.
Bambi got frozen.
It froze. It's cold in Illinois, so she's frozen. You were frozen there a little bit, Bambi.
It is pretty cold here.
Yeah, my sponsor's good with the pages. I'm not so good with the pages. I'm like, oh my God, it says it somewhere in the big book, and I can almost quote it verbatim, but I can't tell you where I'm like, let me look for it. Give me 5 minutes. Call me back. Like, I have an app. This is actually really super cool.
Oh, I got that app too. That's a great app. Yes.
You can literally, so I can quote a lot of stuff because I've read the freaking book so many times, but I the page. So you can literally type in a phrase and it'll tell you what page it's on.
Yes. Oh, you really could in that app?
Yep.
Oh, that's
What
cool.
is that app, Beth?
It is called
the 12-step companion.
Yep. 12-step companion. And when you go in, there is a little magnifying glass right there.
Yep.
Wait, where is it? And then you can type in, I don't know if you guys can see that. My screen fucked up.
That disappeared.
You can literally type in a phrase like, here, nothing.
Live and let live, or whatever.
Live and let live isn't in the book. Nothing will.
I don't know the book.
Okay. So I typed in, here, let me turn this down. And maybe that'll help. There we go.
No, you got to hold it kind of back.
There
you go, right there.
So I typed in nothing will so much. And I don't know if you guys can see the red and the one.
Okay.
You just then click on that and it will literally highlight
right to the page. Oh, wow.
It will literally bring you right to the page and the words.
Okay.
Okay.
So we can learn something new. That's good.
Yeah.
And
I like that.
12-step companion is not a sponsor of our show yet.
But it's a free app.
And
So
it's a free app, absolutely.
yeah.
Ladies, great job in step 12. We will get more into it as the weeks go by. And this is kind of the end of our 12-step every month. And so we're going to kind of get this going, and I'm going to be sad to see this go. I'm going to be happy to see this go, but
Yeah. But it's been so informative. Oh my God, I've learned so much.
I know, and especially with somebody like Beth that comes on and can guide us through a lot of good things. That listen, and Andy always says this. Says if you're the smartest person in the room, get out, and please stay with us, Beth. because
You just told her last week she could stay. She's not going anywhere.
That's right. But I learned so much from you. I really do. And you too, Bambi. I love being kind of sandwiched in the middle of the newcomer and the old timer. I get so much out of this. It's so cool. I mean, I'm not too far behind you, but still, it's still amazing to hear all this stuff that we practice these principles in all our affairs, right? It's amazing. So guys and girls and ladies and Facebook Live and everybody, thank you for listening. Terry, Sandy, who else was on here? A couple other people. Thank you guys so much. Facebook Live, you guys are important to us. We've been doing this show a while with Facebook Live, and it really adds to it. So if you want to send some comments to us, please email us at help@friendsinrecoverypodcast.com on step 12. Next week, hopefully, if Jeff is around, we will be doing a clinical look at step 12. And maybe next week, Beth, we can get Jeff to break the steps up and kind of go into, you and Jeff can go back and forth from a clinical point and from an AA point. So that's all we got today, and stay sober, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
This concludes this episode of Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast. Follow us on Facebook for past shows and updates, and enjoy free access to twice daily support meetings. Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is available on Facebook, Podbean, iTunes, and YouTube 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.